Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories. I'm going to share them with y'all today. If you happen to like the story, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. Also, if you like to binge watch and you want to catch up on some of my older stories, and I definitely got some great ones, go to my YouTube playlist and you will see that I have my stories organized into different topics, and you will definitely find something that you like. Now let's hop right up into this story. Now originally, this story takes place when I was in Ironwood. Ironwood is a level 3 medium security prison that is located in the city of Blythe, California. Blythe, California is damn near at the bottom of Southern California, and it's maybe about 15-20 minutes from the state of Arizona, right? So I stayed there for a while, and the way the California system is based up, is the way it's made up of how they determine what prison that you go to is on points. And so the more points you have, the more level of security that you require. So eventually I was in Ironwood for about 6 years. My points dropped down and I was going to a level 2 prison. Now the difference between a level 2 prison and a level 3 prison, a level 2 is minimum security, and the majority, not all, but the majority of level 2 prisons in California are dorm living as opposed to cell living, right? So they literally sent me right across the street to a prison known as Chuckawalla. Now I was at Chuckawalla for maybe about a week. One day they called me to the program office and they said a guard who worked there said that the victim of my crime was a family friend and I had to go, basically. You know, he was relatively new. He wasn't assigned to any one yard in particular. He was a rover. And due to him being a rover and he could work on any yard on any given day, and there was a potential of us running across each other, I guess was a conflict of interest, and they sent me up out of there. So they ended up sending me to a prison known as Corcoran, SAT-F, which was another level 2. And which the problem that was a little messed up about that for me was Chuckawalla was maybe about 2 hours from where I grew up at. Corcoran was about 6 hours, so it really messed me up in terms of trying to get a visit. So anyway, when I get to Corcoran, I go to the building that I'm assigned in. You got to walk through this pretty long hallway known as a rotunda. So when you get to the building, I went to B yard, I believe it was. So as you're walking through the rotunda, maybe about 6 or 7 feet into the rotunda, you go to the right, there's a big old office that the guards sit in. Now the office has this big old giant window where they can look out into the building in each section and see what's going on. So if you come out the office and you keep walking through the rotunda, they got like a big grill gate. Like a grill gate is pretty much something like the bars that you would see on one of those old Western movies. So they open the grill gate and then you come into the actual building. The building is broken down into 3 separate sections: A section, B section, and C section. And then each section is broken down into like 3 more smaller sections, and each section is cordoned off by walls. And so each section maybe have 10 to 12 bunk beds in it, you know, on each side. So 10 going on this side and 10 going on this side. And so each section, A section, B section, and C section is like that. Now, I believe the top tier, or at least in A section, the sections on the top tier didn't have as many beds. So maybe it was like six bunk beds in each section upstairs. So of course it was less people up there. So immediately when I get there, you know, I find out who's who. What homies are from my way. It was a homie up there by the name of 8 Ball who was from California Gardens. I get at 8 Ball about getting me a knife. Now, you know, a lot of dudes may say, well, hey, chill, man. You was on a level 2. The level 2s is kind of soft. What you need a knife for? Well, by that time, I was accustomed to carrying a knife. And also, like I said, the building is wide open. And so when you at a level 3, you can go to work, go outside, exercise, whatever you do. And then whenever you feel like it, you can come back to your cell and you can get you some peace and quiet. And the only person you have to worry about is your cellie. On these level 2s, the building is wide open. It's always constant movement. People coming and going all times of the day and night. And so, of course, that definitely had me spooked, right? And then also a level 2 is a minimum security prison. So you have people there who are not doing a lot of time. And sometimes you have a lot of people in prison for the first time on a level 2. And so a lot of these people don't do time the way that people on a level 3 or level 4 will do time. And so basically, a lot of times they'll do things that are problematic and cause problems. And due to the building being open and you have so many different people interacting with each other, it was often a lot of problems and stuff, a lot of tension. There were several times we had standoffs up there. And so I remember one time we happened to get into it with the whites, and it was clear that the southern Southsiders had their backs, right? So as we, watching the happenings that's going on, they over there talking and debating or whatever, I happen to see this one essay. He's talking to this older dude in Spanish. So the older dude goes to his bunk. He comes back with a brown bag, and he gives the dude the brown bag, and the dude goes in the bag and starts handing out knives. So it was definitely a tricky situation. Now, a lot of these level 3s and 2s, they have vocations. They have, like mill and cabinet, electrical classes, auto mechanics. This particular level 2 had a welding shop, and dudes had started making knives in these welding shops, man. I happened to see this black dude. He had 2 knives, right? And these 2 knives, the whole 24 years I've done in prison, I haven't seen any knives look more dangerous and deadly than those 2 knives that this dude has. That the 2 knives that those dude has. So of course, that's a tricky thing too, because now you're looking at these knives, and one of them was definitely a killing machine. And so you're thinking like, damn, well, if we got these, other races may have them. So it's definitely a cold situation. As a matter of fact, maybe about 4 or 5 months later, I ended up being charged with a stabbing. The name of that video is called Chill versus Goliath. So go check that out, right? So I've been up there maybe about a month or 2. I'm trying to, get situated with what's going on or whatever. So one day I'm chilling, I'm sitting down, man. I'm talking to this dude. I believe it was Rabbit, man. Rabbit from Palm and Oak, if I'm not mistaken, right? Which is a gang out there in Linwood. So anyway, I'm talking to Rabbit about a riot that had happened down in Ironwood. And all of a sudden, I look up, I see 2 black dudes over there squabbing with some light-skinned people. So initially, I'm thinking that it's the blacks and the Mexicans. So I jump up, I run over there. When I get over there, it is 2 dudes from up north fighting 2 younger light-skinned dudes from up north. So I go back to the bed. They still over there squabbing. Beep, boop, bop, boop, bop, bop. They squabbing just right in the middle of the day room. Eventually, the guards look up, they see him, they press the button, they come out there, they mace him, they take him to the hole. So now when they take him to the hole, one of the dudes happened to live in the A section upstairs where it was about 6 people. 6 bunks up there was less people. So the guard ended up moving me over there, which was cool. It was less crowded. So maybe about a month later, the dude who was squabbing, who lived in that section, they brought him back and they moved him right across from me. So he happened to be from Oakland, from 6-9 Village or 6-9ville. So me and him, we ended up getting real cool, right? And so he was the first dude really from Oakland that I had talked to in depth. And it wasn't because I didn't get along with people from Oakland or whatever. It was just due to the fact that, by me being from Southern California, being from IE or whatever, that's who I'm mainly associated with, right? So, he was real interested in the Southern California, like the culture, and I was interested in a lot of the Northern California culture because I'd heard a lot of stuff. So we was chopping it up back and forth talking, and we had got real cool. Now, like I said, the main thing is he had started going to prison in the late 80s, early 90s, so we was around the same age. And the main thing up there for both of us sometimes was we had younger homies who done time sometimes in ways that wasn't necessarily consistent with keeping them out of trouble all the time, right? He happened to have one homie in particular. I won't necessarily even say he was his homie, but he was a dude that was from Northern California, right? And this dude was probably about 22, 23, light-skinned, maybe about 5'8", maybe about 150, 155 pounds, It looked like, too, he wore his hair short and he was going bald right here. Now, I want to say he was from Fairfield. He may have been from Hayward, but I believe he was from Fairfield. Now, the dude didn't gang bang and he talked like a square. And sometimes I think that's a That's a bad habit that a lot of us who have done time have a tendency of doing, judging a person's supposed toughness on his demeanor, the way he talks, the way he carries himself, right? This dude, he talked real proper, and so he didn't seem like he was a real tough guy. And he always was doing things that was problematic. He always done things that periodically the older dudes from up north would have to talk to him about it. And when they would talk to him about it, he gave off this impression that, it was an annoyance, or he was being irritated by the fact that somebody was telling him how to do his program or what to do, And so one day, I was outside playing basketball about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I had a phone call. So I come in the building. I use my phone call. After I get off the phone, I see the youngster talking to this dude from up north, older dude by the name of Cliff. Now, Cliff was maybe about 5'8", maybe about 160 pounds, dark-skinned, had an afro and glasses. Now that I think about it, he looked like an older version of Lamont Safford with a cocaine problem or something, So they sitting over there, they talking and stuff, and then all of a sudden, Cliff is telling the youngster about something else he done, and the youngster, he got this look of irritation on his face, once again, like, this conversation is beneath him or whatever. So all of a sudden, Cliff just pimp slapped the dude. Bam! Backhanded him like he caught his hooker, on the cell phone playing games when she was supposed to be out there on the blade or something, you know what I'm saying? But now, to his surprise, when he backhanded the youngster go to fighting back. The youngster started fighting back like a hoe who wasn't in love with her pimp no more. So they squabbling up. Beep, boop, bop, boop, bop, boop, 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 bop, bop. They squabbling, actually the youngster is getting some good hits in on Cliff. Beep, boop, bop, boop. So, all of a sudden now they're a little tired. They go to pause it, and the youngster's like, yeah, I don't know who you think I am. You got me messed up. Cliff like, man, you gonna mind somebody. The youngster said, man, I'm gonna do what I want to do. They go to squabbling some more. Beep, boop, bop, boop, boop, bop, boop, boop, bop. They squabble up, Now, the second time they go to squabbling, it's about, it's about even. It's about 50-50. So they squabbling, and eventually somebody break them up, and they don't get caught. So so the youngster, he go outside, and so Cliff like, oh yeah, it ain't over, it ain't over. But for that particular incident, man, it was over. Cliff didn't want no more of that youngster, man. I guess he assumed that he could just pimp slap the dude, and the dude wasn't gonna do nothing, But now when you pimp slap a man, or you slap a man with your open hand, that's extremely disrespectful. That's damn near saying like, I am so little worried about you or your squabble game, I'm not even gonna hit you like a man. I'm gonna treat you like a woman and slap you with my open hand or whatever, So nothing ever became of that after, or at least outwardly. I don't know how how he was dealt with inside the up north car, but nothing outwardly, no more, fighting, and nothing never came from that. So the dude, he's still running around a little arrogant or whatever, One day in particular, I hear him saying, oh yeah, I ain't nothing like these dumb gangbangers. I ain't stupid like these dumb gangbangers. Now, anybody that knows anything about Southern and Northern California culture, there are no Crips, or there are no Black Crips or Bloods in Oakland. And so up in that area, right? Or especially not back in that time. So him saying that could have been taken offensively by somebody who was a Crip or a Blood from down south. I happened to overhear him say it, but at that time I had been in prison about 12 years, and I was a little more mature, so I didn't even bite into what he was saying, But so the dude, he was still running around sometimes like he was fresh off the Game Goofy boat, right? And so now maybe about a month or two passes, right? And now this dude has gotten into some more stuff now. So my boy from Oakland, he tell me, yeah, chill, man. Oh boy, man, we gonna have to get on his helmet, man. So I'm just giving you a heads up, man. We fist to go down here right now and DP, right? So of course, I want to see it. I go down there, and they got him surrounded by a crowd of dudes, you know what I'm saying? So they talking to him and stuff, and all of a sudden they just hop on his helmet though. Beep, boop, bop, boop, bop, boop, bop, boop. You know what I'm saying? They put him out real quick, like a small fire on the stove. And so when they put him out, he on the ground, all of a sudden one of my homies jump off the bunk. One of my young homies, man, Ozone. Now Ozone was claiming 5-time Rialto, which is a Crip gang in Rialto. Now, before I got there, some dudes told me that when he first pulled up, he wasn't gang banging. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't banging anything. Then later on, he started claiming 5-time. I don't know how true that is. So when I got there, he was claiming 5-time. So anyway, they own the boy. Boop, bop, boop, bop. Like I say, when he hit the ground, Ozone jump off the bunk. All of a sudden, Ozone run over there and kick him a couple times. Boom, boom. So once I see him, I say, hey, homie. I run over there. I grab Ozone. Grab him by the shoulder. I pull him up out of there. I say, hey, homie, look, you can't get into nothing like that, homie. That right there, that's up north business, right? And so I pulled him up out of there, talked to him, said, hey, you can't do that, right? I think, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it happened to be a younger dude that he was hanging with who was from, I think he happened to be from, he happened to be from Hanford. He was a Crip from Hanford, and I think he got involved in it. So that may have gave Ozone the feeling that it was cool for him to jump down there and get into it. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? They put lefts and rights, and they put, the state boots all on the boy, bust him up real tough. You know what I'm saying? The dude got up, man, like he was, dude got up like he was woozy or something. You know what I'm saying? Them state boots, man, look. I'm telling you, man, if you get kicked in your head with one of them state boots, that's a hard thing to overcome, right? So once he finally got up and collected himself, you know what I'm saying, he got another talking to. And after that, he definitely got his stuff in order, He ran around like he had some sense. And as the saying goes, you gonna mind somebody. Now, after they whooped on him the second time, I noticed that he was a little standoffish now. He wouldn't even hang or associate as much as he did earlier before with some of his homies who was around his way, man. So yeah, he stayed in line right there and took his little young self home. But that's the story right there of the dude who wouldn't take advice and had to get DP'd twice. Anyway, man, you already know who it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.